put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cock-a-crow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cock-a-crow, dog-a-bag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck-a-quack. Cock-a-crow, dog-a-bag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck-a-quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now a come home. In a jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Gale Baka, Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Gale Baka, Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell you tales, some picnic are there with fright. Oh, Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma, Bura, Nancy, even Watamuma. Oh, Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma, Bura, Nancy, even Watamuma. Yeah, man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country, life in the country. But up the river, some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Gale Baka, Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Gale Baka, Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell you tales, some picnic are there with fright. Oh, Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma, Bura, Nancy, even Watamuma. Oh, Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma, Bura, Nancy, even Watamuma. Yeah, man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country, life in the country.
Yes, brothers, too, I wish you all a pleasant good evening as we start another program of BV Triumph report. This week, I'm hoping that we can look at a few issues that have cropped up over the last 3 weeks within the community, especially the one that broke onto the Stabroek and the Demerara waves recently about a land sale. However, I will pause on that for a while because as it is, we have on the live Facebook page one listener and I have 2 Zoom participants. So as not to be repeating myself, we can talk about other issues. I'll talk about some other minor issues around the community for now. Some of you may have seen a Facebook page where I refer to cleaning of the Surratt Drive Canal. That canal was cleaned, and I think the guys did an excellent piece of job. You know, it was done by the CDC, and I commend them. Even though the way it was done, did not quite approve it because we had a very small hydraulic excavator, something similar to what we call a bobcat, but a different brand. I think that one might have been a Caterpillar based on the color. I can't recall what it was, but it had no real reach. It just, and it had to clean both sides, go around the canals to clean both sides of the canal, leaving the center, which was then cleaned manually. But as I said, the end product was excellent. I await now for the BVCDC to do the same, but you know, these CDCs we all know are tools of the PPP. So they are not keen on having BV look good unless they know that, unless they can convince themselves or convince the BV people to be within their corral. So, and that is not really forthcoming. So the BVCDC is left stalled to look on same bench. They, from what I understand, they would like to have it clean, but they are not getting the necessary support. Let's hope, because I'm saying this now, on that support will come to the BVCDC to have the canals in Bedford acting clean also, as was done in Triumph. Right? All right. Good night to you all on the Zoom. I now have 3 and still 1 on Facebook. I'll get into the meat of tonight's discourse. I'll get into the meat of tonight's discourse in another 5 minutes, right? If you can bear with me. I see that we are being carried live on another feed, and that's great. Welcome you all on that other feed. And I must thank my brother and comrade in struggle, Sherwood Duncan, for extending the reach of the BV. Oh, and he says 100 are watching, so I might as well go there instead to be able to respond if necessary to any comments. Because on my page, I have 1 person watching, but here we have multiplied by 100 on Brother Sherwood's page. So I think I will have to go there too to respond to some comments that may come up there. Bear with me until I get there. Not sure which Sherwood, sorry. Yes, I'm seeing Brother Sherwood's page, so I hope I would be able to comment on, to respond to any comments that will come on either feed as we go forward. Now, I had promised to discuss this issue pertaining to the lands. Now, what I will do is show a listing of all those who got lands and then make a comparison, comment on that list, right? So I will share the feed to that list. Okay. Now, this is all of the people that I was able to establish, because you see there are 33 or 33 plots, right? And one referred to as JB. In fact, there are 35. I cannot account for 34 and 35 yet. Also, if you notice, 7 is missing, but 7 was also, this 7, 6 and 7 were sold to the same person. So I did not check the transport. Maybe the transports are together. 18, I do not have information on 18. Now, we see names here. Now, these lands belong to the BV Triumph community. Let us not get ourselves confused. These lands belong to the people of BV and Triumph, because BV and Triumph were bought by our ancestors. BV in 1840, Triumph, I think, is 1856, right? It was bought by the same people from BV. They bought Triumph. In time, apart from Africans, others were entertained or allowed to live in our community. Of course, some of them would have bought lands. So BV Triumph is a mixed community, basically about 70, in the just over 70% Africans, about 25% Indians, and then we have also mixed races, Amerindians, Chinese, and others, right? So we will focus on BV Triumph as being owned by the villagers. I'm not here to discuss whether the East Indian man should have ownership. All I know is that our foreparents entertained them, the others, so they should be part of and parcel of the decision making in BV Triumph, and they should also have rights to own lands in BV and Triumph, because the decisions of our foreparents I respect. Again, the decisions of my foreparents I will respect, and I think any Baronian should do the same. Now, we have in this year, we have names like JB Contracting Enterprise, Arifa Mohammed, Lukna Chan, Felicia Charan, Abdul Sattar, Wazim Mohammed, and the others continue. But I will move from this page and bring up a page which will give a breakdown of who these people are, where they are from, possibly where they are from, and their relationship to BV. If you will bear with me. As I said, the lands are owned by BV people. Now, the council, who has been appointed to manage the affairs of the community, do not own these lands. Hence, any sale of lands by within the community any sale of lands within your community, our community, and this should reflect in all other communities that were bought by villages that were bought by formerly enslaved Africans, and where the lands are communally owned. That is, lands that are not prescribed to a particular family. No, like for instance, those that were reserved for pasturage, those that were reserved for religious and educational functions, and so on. If those lands are no longer utilized for those purposes, and the community should be consulted in determining what should happen to those lands. In the case of the lands that I'm discussing, that these lands are located north of the Triumph Public Road, hence they were there initially for pasturage. So the council felt it wise to change the land use. I must also say that those lands were identified to be utilized by an earlier group, which was referred to as the New Generation Co-op Society. The members of that Co-op Society paid for the lands to be surveyed, to be allotted out. They went through some of the requirements to have it in their possession. What happened at that time is that they were not granted the permission, the requisite permission to build an access ingress, an access road or access bridge to those lands. So they did not go forward, and it was left that in the future, hopefully, I do not know what were the thinking of the members, why they did not attempt to get their transports or anything, though it would have been a block transport, but it remained there. The present council, they recognized that there were some other developments in some lands in North Triumph where a road was not too far away from those lands, and they decided to take advantage of the presence of that road to get access to the lands. Now that they have found that instead of going back to the former group, in fact, on my Facebook page, a young lady who said her father, who is now deceased, had a piece of land, and she approached them and she heard that they wanted to have it occupied, and they said that was a long time ago. We cannot deal with what your father and this group were given. You will have to participate in this new process. Anyhow, fast forward, they decided that they would have what they call a lottery for those lands. As I said, the new generation housing scheme, initially they had identified 21 house lots, but through some sort of luck, they were able to further identify a further 5, so it became 26. Yet, when this council announced it, they only announced the presence of 21 house lots. Remember, how it was designed, the road would have passed, they would have built a bridge across the canal. Sorry, I didn't bring up a map. I should have had a map for that there. Let me see if I can I'll probably get a map up later. Right, so the road would have taken up a portion of land, they only had positions for 26 lots. But as I said, this council announced for 21. And many councillors up until January month felt it was 21 lots to be given out to residents, because the council was told that the lands will be sold, that is sold by the chairman, that the lands would be sold to villagers, right, by way of a lottery, right? So that did not happen. From all the evidence I'm getting, there was no lottery, because I'm hearing of situation where there was shortlisting. You don't have shortlisting in a lottery, but no, that is it. So the lands were there, as I said, even though the council may have decided that they will have these lands allocated, they should have come back to the community. In this way, they would have made the entire community aware that the lands are up for sale or would be sold. This did not happen. A notice was placed somewhere in the market, I understand, and people tried to get. But believe you me, I spoke to 4 people since the Starbuck News article who said they had applied, and all 4 of them were told that the number of persons required to apply, because they only wanted 30 applicants. A decision was made that they only take 30 applications and deliver these 21. Now, if you have a lottery, any right thinking person will consider, if it's a lottery, then you just open it. Whoever is lucky will win. But the idea here is that we must get something out of it. So we will only entertain 30, and to ensure that they got something out of it, there was a short listing from the 30 to satisfy the needs of to satisfy the 21. I was told. So when I asked about the lottery, because I came on board late, I got into the council only year for the last December. These activities that I'm talking about happened in 2019, where the lottery and all advertisements were made by way, single advertisement by way of a note in the market. Vendor from the market applied. As soon as the vendor saw it, she said that her daughter applied, and the daughter was told the lands, too many people applied. Worker from the council applied, too many, we already had the requisite 30. So it seems as if it was only for those in that within the council. That's the appearance that is given. Well, the list, as I said, you saw there. I will now show you who are the persons who got those lands. Oh. Okay. I'm opening a file marked Lotto winner. It was opened on the computer already, but I'm not seeing it, so I will open it, try to open it again. And it's not opening. Let me, oh yes, that is it. Now, if you look, oops. If you look, you'll see some colors on this picture. Now, those in green, you see they predominate. Guess what? All those in green are lands, plots of lands that were delivered, allotted to the chairman and his relatives. I mean, we have a lotto. How come the chairman and his relatives can get so many pieces? Right? We have Deshina Squire, she's got 2 pieces. That's the chairman's sister. Diana Burkett, the chairman's mother, she got a piece. Gordonica De Freitas, the chairman's fiance or girlfriend, she got a piece. JB Contracting Enterprise, this is the chairman's business, got a piece. Jamal Bagger, the chairman, he got a piece. His close friend, Kevin Yorek, got a piece. Margaret Ockwart, the mother of Gordonica, she got a piece. And Ian Arden, his brother, got a piece. I mean, and as I said, councillors were aware that there were only 21 house slots to be granted. So if the chairman alone got 10, that means only 11 left for the people to get, villagers to get. Now, I must say something about this one that the chairman has. The one that he got for himself, for his business. This one, the records will show that he sold it to the chairman or the managing director of Mohammed Sons and Daughters, that is Mohan Mohammed Johnson. Those of you who would have been following the saga of the BV land sale would know that that man is the man from Mohammed Sons and Daughters that took the council to court in an attempt to get the villages, the land of villagers, forcefully acquired by him. That eventually, you know what happened at the court. The judge told them that the whole issue stinks. The whole saga was a stinking one, right? So here it is. The man that the chairman just a few months ago said he didn't know. He sold this land to this very man 2 years ago, because the records will show that the sale was done 2 years ago. That is to Mohammed's sons and daughters. So how come he doesn't know the man to whom he sold lands 2 years ago? It's a question to be answered. Right? So as you see, 10 pieces went to the chairman and his family and close friend. Now, if we look further, now we see those in yellow. Those in yellow are lots that were allotted to relatives of councillors. You see, these councillors, they are smart. They didn't put it in their name. Here we have County Tection, the sister of Lalu Tection. We have Maria King, the wife, and this is her maiden name, of Councillor Combabadge. I repeat, Maria King, the wife of Councillor Combabadge. We have Shakil Harcourt, the son of former chairman and Councillor Harcourt, and Shakil Williams. So these councillors, except for Combabadge, were all they were comfortable with getting a piece for themselves. Combabadge knew more than the others, so he got 2 for himself and didn't get it in his name. He got it in his wife's maiden name, so that anybody searching will not find Combabadge as a holder of lands illegally from the council, from the village. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is an illegal transaction. Because if the council had intended to sell our lands, they should have approached us and said, look, we want these lands now to be utilized for housing, and these, so many are there. Now, they said it was a lottery. I am still to know who drew the lottery, who observed the lottery. These are questions I've asked at the council table without an answer. I'm hoping that villagers who are participating here, and maybe the general public, because I mean it's corruption. Once you can allow corruption in one part of your country, corruption will take hold, right? So I now move to those in blue. Alex Mahaika, this is the contractor who worked for the council. He did some work for the council mid last year. Roseanne Jandu, she is the mother of the sitting overseer. She got 2 lots. I mean, just like Councillor Combabadge, she taking left, so she mother gotta get 2. We have Shamin Mohammed, a former employee of the council, who also got a lot. And strangely, we have Wazin Mohammed, who got a lot. He is a contractor to the council. He does mechanical work. So you see, it's people who do business with the council, and particularly maybe the chairman, because no one on the council knew Mahaika except the chairman in this case here. He's the one who found Mahaika and brought him to BV. Mahaika is all the way from Golden Grove. He came and he did, and the works that he did were considered emergency works. You know, we are preparing the grounds for East. East is coming up again, by the way. The ground at the BV ball ground had to be prepared for Easter. So we had an early preparation of that ground, and so that was it. Council, Mr. Mahaika got the contract. It was all in a hurry, so emergency works, it was called. Now, I have some other colors here. These colors are people who got double lots. Look at them. You have one, the chairman, that's a double lot, or 2 lots, I should say, not double. We have Kemraj Jairam, he got 2 lots. We got Maria King, as I said earlier, Rosanna Johnson, and Zena Frank, an interesting person. Now, Miss Frank, she is an employee of the Deeds Registry. an employee of the government. She is supposed to facilitate transports and so through that when properties are sold, our office will deal with the transport. No, Zena Frank is not from BV nor Triumph. Zena Frank is from Victoria. So there is no way she would have qualified to be part of the lottery. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I should have outlined what was the chairman's response when I asked him, because I went on to the consulate. What were your criteria? Because I asked the other councillors and none of them could have, because I asked all of them at the meeting, pointing to them, Councillor X, Councillor Y, what was the criteria used for the selection for participation in this lottery? No councillor could have answered. So I then turned to the chairman, Mr. Chairman, what's the criteria for participation in the lottery? He gave me 3 criteria. 1, you must be from BV. 2, you must not own lands. And 3, you must be a young entrepreneur. When he told me that, I asked him, what of the young teacher, the young policeman, and the young carpenter? And they merited, should they be given lands to in the community from which they are? Don't they merit it? He did not answer. Why I asked him of the young teacher? Because on the council there is a young teacher. On the council there is a young policeman. So indirectly I was asking those people who are sitting on the council if they don't have the right to a piece of land also that is being sold by the council. If it's only entrepreneurs, because the chairman is a businessman, so he only looks after people within his rankings. That is what it seems. They all accepted. No one responded to me at that meeting. So we say, as I said, Zena Frank, she is not from BV, but she's the one at the deeds registry who, according to what I was told by 3 different sources, 2 linked to the council and 1 worked at the council, is that she facilitated the rapid issuance of the transports. I mean, this is a government worker. For her to do her job, the council had to bribe her with 2 plots of lands. I beg someone to investigate this woman, because it's corruption. And don't tell me it's not. We have another double lottee, Kemraj Jairan. He is not from the community, yet he got 2 lands, 2 plots. So because he's not from the community, he should not be participating in the sale. But he got 2 plots. He is from LBI. But I must come back to this Frank lady. You see, as I said, it happened that there were 35 lots. So it seems as if, even though they cut off at 30 and then they shortlisted, when they realized that the lots were so many, more than they could have among themselves bought up, they went fishing. Because if Miss Frank, when at the point of time they went to Miss Frank's office, she was still able to get lots. I mean, they had lots in escrow holding to give somebody who will help them. And she was not the only one who they gave, because she helped them. We have a lawyer by the name of Hunt. I'm not seeing his name. Yes, Robin Hunt. He was the NDC's lawyer. He got a lot there. He's not from the community, but he qualified to get a lot. So what I'm saying to you all is, corruption is rife within this council, and we need to stuff it out. We need to bring, as a community, action against this council to see to it that things go right. Our patrimony is being taken away from us, right? By all means. we have a little, what should I call him? Snotty nose boy for the chairman, because he was a snotty nose boy when I would have foreseen him, though might not have recognized who he is. Doing this to us. These people, look at them. 10 lots for himself and family. Then all of these other people, no one on the council knows them. If I ask any councillor, I see a councillor online, I will not call him out, but if he wishes, he can tell me if he knows who is Kemraj Jairam or Loknath Chan, another person from all the way in Montrose, right? We have a woman coming all the way from, what you call it, Dundee, to get a piece of land. Felicia Charan. She is all the way from Dundee, Myconi, and she gets a piece of land. Well, someone told me, oh, maybe she is some acquaintance of past chairman Leland Harcourt, because he grew up in Dundee. Maybe they were schoolmates or something, I was told. No. So these are the things. How can BV people be comfortable with this happening over their heads? People just taking them for granted. I can't understand, but I will keep asking the questions. We have Troy Cadogan, the general manager for Anson McCall. He got a piece of land. I was told, rationale being, oh, he supplies the chairman business with goods on old over. So that qualifies him for a piece of land. Again, corruption on the part of the chairman. We have former REO of Region 4, Pauline Lucas. God bless the dead, and she's dead. She got a piece of land. We have Bonita Allen, the daughter of former regional chair and villager. She got a piece of land, and she only got it because of her mother's position as regional chair, because the mother was regional chair, so she was able to get it. Now, I reserve this two for major comments. We have Arifa Mohammed. Arifa Mohammed is the owner of BM Soats. BM Soats has a monstrosity of a building over 300 feet long on the reserve of agriculture, Northern Agriculture Road, going towards the seawall. The building there, I must inform you all, is not approved. The construction of that building has not been approved by the council. Questioning over the year while I was there, why don't we stop that building from going build? Well, it was being built when I first went there, the first portion. Why don't we stop the construction? I was repeatedly told the matter is in court and we cannot do anything. The matter is in court, but Mr. Mohammed continues to build and the council's hands are tied because it's in court. He finished that, he opened it, he rented it to some Chinese business, and he has expanded. He's now on the second expansion, not the first. He has done the first expansion, which took the building over 200 feet. Now he's on the second expansion, which is probably about 360 feet. And I will always say, he is paying a pittance of a rental for the lease. The council did lease him of that piece of land. And I had warned when I found out that it's leased, that I told the council, the chairman in special particularly, that the way he has constructed will make him want to occupy the entire piece of land. That is all the way from the public road to the seawall, because all he has taken across the face of the land, no one else can get a piece of land because they will not have access from the road unless they use Moripo Road. and the Moripo community would have a right to stop any business from using that route to get into Triumph. They would have a right to, because there was some sort of a conflict of over the ownership of that strip of land between the Moripo and the BV NDC. But things go on, you know. I will stop here in case anybody wishes to, on the Zoom live, wishes to ask a question or two before I continue. Because the intention here is that we interact in as much as possible. If no interactions, then I'll continue. Let me see on the Facebook what is happening. Well, comments, the chairman is not to be trusted.
Can I be heard?
The information on the land sale was not passed on to the residents of BV. That might very
My
well
brother,
be.
can I be heard?
Right. Let me see on the live coming from the brother. I'm not seeing any comments as yet. So now, what is our way forward with this? I seek legal advice. One school of thought is that we make residents of the village make a formal report to the police. But that would mean maybe for the next 10 years or so, we await the DPP to make a decision. Because, you know, when the police investigate, it has to go to the DPP chambers for the DPP to say whether or not charges are to be made, or if to request for the information, and it can drag on. The other school of thought says villagers should form an alliance and make a private charge against the council. I will have to, when I say I seek legal advice, that is among non-lawyers, you know, because we have people who have a fair knowledge of the law from within the community. And so but I will have to interface with some lawyers this week. I have an appointment with 2 lawyers. And at that point in time, I hope some clarity can be brought to this situation as to how we should actually proceed. Because there is no way, as again I repeat, there is no way villagers should allow this to happen. Because it's begging the question, if this village is now being owned, being moved towards the ownership of the chairman and his cohorts, because they are now taking up everything that is possible to be owned by the within the community, right? They are taking up all the lands available. No. So we have some major challenges. I'm open, as I said, to have this resolved before the week is out. And at least by the time I make the next report, be able to tell the villagers and that we have secured the services of 1, 2, well, I'll be meeting 2 lawyers, 1, 2, maybe 3 lawyers to come together. Because this matter, I realize it's not a straightforward matter because transports have been passed. And some people are of the opinion once transports are passed, it's not easy to revoke them. But the fact that the sales were illegal gives us an advantage because the owners, that is the villagers, never consented to the sale. So we have that as our trump card. I'm sorry for the I see a very large structure, which I understand belongs to Mr. Troy Cadogan in that area, a 3-story structure. I'm sorry, he may have to renegotiate the purchase of that land with the villagers. If the villagers so desire that they relinquish it again to him, that's a different matter. But I will not predict, right? Because this is surely what my mother would have said, I pass. This led by techie is pass away. And we got to stop it, right? Now, as I was saying, BM Suits. This man he got this lease from the council. And I mean, how can he build without permission from the council such a large building, right? So now, again, it seems as if there is a clique. We had Mohammed Johnson, them who tried to thief the whole Section G. We have Arifa Mohammed, who BM Soats people, who apart from the land out there, he recently at the council level is filing for a prescription on some people's lands in the village, right? Which the council, well, in fact, the council is claiming the land as council land and not the other person who owns. So there is a promise from the council table that we will stop that in the court because the land belongs to council. I hope that I do not have to take a private action against that thing if the council did not make the move. Because if the land is council's land and BM Soats wishes to prescribe on it, if the council refused to do what was required, then Elton McRae will have to take private action against that through the courts. This council is known to not really deal with lands that are owned by residents in a right manner, because I am aware of lands, a piece of land that was prescribed against, that was owned by a former neighbor of mine. She's dead, but her relatives are still alive. That is Olga Cruikshank, Ogle. The Ogles had this property in Triumph, and a family who teacher Olga had allowed to live in the house there. After teacher Olga died, this family prescribed against the land. And what they did, they prescribed against it in the name of the former owner, some Charan. So notice was served to the Charan family. They know they don't own land, so they never really bothered with it. But I'm saying notice is also generally served to the council. And the council should have been able to check its records to see that the notice was incorrectly served and alert the Ogle family as to what is going on. But that was not done. So the Ogle family has lost some land due to the negligence of this council. Not the present council, but the NDC. No. So whatever happened in a previous council, they should also carry it. Right. And they continued, because I was told of a survey that was to be done recently this last week. The neighbor was served with a notice of survey. Neighbor asked, is the council present? Did you serve to the council? They said no. The surveyor said no, because in past times he would serve the council and they never turn up. So he stopped serving the council with any notice of a survey. I mean, this is wrong. He should do what is right. And he is encouraged because the council has been shirking their responsibilities. That neighbor, from my understanding, indicated his objection to the survey, and I advise him that he should also write to Lands and Surveys Department objecting to the survey, just in case the man went ahead and submitted his plans and the council did not do, has not been apprised of it, right? So I don't know the nature of the survey that was to be executed, but the fact is, any survey within the community, the council should be aware of it, and the council should be present. Send a representative to be present. But many things come to the council table, and it seems as if many of it are not presented to councillors. So, as the survey claim, he has stopped sending notices to the council because the council do not respond to his notices. The council does not respond to his notices, which is a very serious indictment to the council. My last point of the discussion today is that I would very much like to invoke not only sorry, let me take off the speaker from this one. Yeah, not only for the BV Tramp NDC, but all NDCs across the country, that their meetings be streamed on Facebook or YouTube so that members of the community can always reference to those meetings. Because what I found when I joined the council is that the meetings of the council were regarded as sacrosanct only for the knowledge of councillors and not for the knowledge of the community. Even though it's council's the community's business we are discussing, the community should not know what is happening at council level. Because, case in point, when that document with the land sale to John Finance was leaked, right? And it was, they were annoyed, and in fact, the chairman went on TV to say that a document was leaked. I mean, that was something that should have been made public to the people. And he made all sorts of assertions as to what this leakage can cause the council and how the person who leaked it, what, you know, I mean, it's all nonsense. What should happen is that these meetings should be viewed, because in the past, villagers were allowed to go to council meetings. Today, the council chambers is so designed that there is only sitting room for councillors and officers of the government who must be there present. That is, people from the Ministry of, from the regional department, the RDC, the people from the environmental health department, and so on, right? So there's no seating for the public. And especially with COVID, things got even more tighter. So anybody from the public, they will allow one member of the public at a time to enter the chamber, excuse me, which is not good enough. So I'm saying there should be some sort of mechanism, and I will write to the local government commission and local government ministry to ensure that all council meetings are ventilated publicly. Because if meetings of our parliament can be delivered to the public, what is so sacrosanct about village meetings that the public should not know? National matters are openly, where more serious issues are discussed nationally, the public has the right to know. And at the village level, we do not have the right. Villagers are not given that right. And we talk, because if you're talking local democracy, democracy must start from the bottom. People must know. You cannot keep people in the dark and expect them to accept what you're doing. You know, since I've been on the council, there was one time the meeting was streamed, and the intent was to embarrass me. I did not know. Had I known, I might have behaved real bad, but you know, they caught me off guard. But they still couldn't embarrass me because, you know, I'm not that stupid. Questions that were posed, I answered them in a correct way, and so on, right? But the idea there was to embarrass me, and they didn't come out. A question is asked online if the lottery was open to non-villagers. I said the criteria for participation was one, you must be from the community. So that negates the participation of all non-villagers. All. And no, maybe I will stretch the definition of a villager in the sense that if you are born in a village, not only if you're living in the, if you were born in the village, then you should be a villager. If you're, though you may live in Boston or live in New York, you're still a villager because we own you. If your roots are from the village, we can say, well, this is Papa Ezzy son, grandson, but you know, he live in Boston. That might have been because Papa Ezzy's great grandparents bought this village. Though I'm also saying those who would have come to our village, who we have welcomed, whether they were born here or not, we accept because they want to be with us. So they should also participate as villagers, right? So it's not restricted only for Baronians. I don't think we should restrict that village thing only for Baronians. You know, when I say Baronians, I mean people from Deviant Triumph who were born here, whose grandparents were born here and coming through. So we can be flexible in that. But if you never live in the village, if you don't have any links to the village, you shouldn't be allowed to participate. Right? And that is what happened. We had participants who were not from the village, like this lady, Felicia Charan. She come from Tilana, Dundee. Then we got Jaipal Singh. Okay, he's from LBI. No, Jaipal. I have Annandale, but somewhere there I think he was from LBI. You know, there are two names when I look at the list of people who got lands. There are two names. I do not know who they are. And those names are Janila Yearwood and Roy Jones. I don't know who these two people are, whether they are villagers or non-villagers. Though I suspect Jones may be a relative to one of the councillors who got land, but it was not in his name, it was in his cousin's name. So I suspect Jones might be that person. Or it could be Yearwood. We're not sure, right? But all the others, as I will show in the order in another chart, which I have here, are largely biased. It was to villagers, against villagers. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Okay, I'll get it here. I'll get it here. Okay, this is it. I thought I'd opened the file, but apparently it got closed. Bear with me a minute and it will be open. Yeah. If we look at the non-villagers, this list is long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, so Maria King, I forgot. She should not be a she's not a non-villager. I did not know who she was until yesterday, and I forgot to take her off. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 persons who are non-villagers, 2 of whom got double 2 lots, right? So in other words, it's 10 and 2, 12 of those lots went to non-villagers, right? Let me see. No, 1, 2, 3 of whom got, no, there's 1, 2, because king is not there. Let me take king off this list, right? So we have 1, Zena Frank, she got 2, Jones, as I said, he is, I have no information from him in the village. I've asked all the Jones I know in the village who's Roy Jones, none of them knows him. Robin Hunt, the lawyer for the council, Phyllis Charan, the lady from all the way up Dundee, Luknath Chan, he from Montrose, Kemraj Jairam from LBI, Jania Yearwood from, well, I don't know the person, but I suspect she's a non-villager, and Jai Paul Singh, a non-villager. Right? So all of these are non-villagers. Oh, sorry, Arifa Mohammed is non-villager, and Abdul Wazim Sattar. I didn't speak of this person. He is associated with Gafur Inc. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lots of 34 that I've identified, 34 that I've been able to trace belonging to non-villagers. The chairman has 10, so 10 and 12 is 22. And then councillors and their or worker people who are associated with the council. Did I put this young man? I'm not seeing his name. There's another non-villager. The contractor. His name is not there. So you see, 13 lots were sold to non-villagers, 10 to the chairman and his friends. And then, so we have very small amount to villagers, but among those that went to the villagers, we have 3 plus 4, 7 who are for people working with the council or for councillors. Then we have 2, 1 who is a contractor to the council. You know, so where are the rank and file people of BV and all of this? Where are the people who voted for those councillors in this? And that's the important thing. You vote for someone to look after your community, and they turn around and take them ice past you. And you sit down, take it like, as my mother used to say, like Chinese. No insult to the Chinese people, but you know, Chinese are considered very meek and mild people. You say anything to they clasp your hands and bow to you. So my mother used to, when things like that happen, he take them like a Chinese. So that is where we are. Yes, I will. If anybody has any comments to make, I'll be happy before we close. The time is up. No comments. So I will say goodbye to you and hope that we meet on the 4th Sunday of the month. And until then, I will say again goodbye to you all and leave you with
This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them long, long low, now yoga.